Hello, everybody. This is Dom from Upstate Supernatural. I'd like to welcome everybody in for another brand new episode of Interview with a Ghost Hunter. This week we actually have somebody that we've already interviewed, so this is going to be a little more free flowing than the other interviews that we've been doing in the past for the past few sessions. And Niki was actually the first individual we interviewed for this series, so I'd like to thank you and welcome you back to the show.
Thank you.
And how have things been going for you?
Oh, loaded question. Things have been going good. I've had a lot of ups and a lot of downs since our last interview, that's for sure. But I've been trying to keep myself busy.
Yeah, it was roughly, God, probably almost 3 years ago, right? Two and
Oh
a half, three
gosh.
years ago, somewhere around there.
Wow.
That we did that interview, and some of the questions I really haven't changed them,
Okay.
but I'm just gonna scroll through some of them real quick. And the first one was, if you could let everybody know who you are, and you don't really work with a team, you work with, or per se, like a official paranormal team. It's more of like a
Yeah,
organization.
right. I
So
do. And I consider myself a free agent. So I'm like with those sports figures, you know how they have their free agent they're contract free. I'm contract free. I do a lot of investigations with Live Paranormal. I also do a radio show there. I do live streaming investigations at liveparanormal.com. Right now, we've kind of been doing the Facebook Live thing. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but that's what we've kind of been taking to lately. But I investigate with everyone. Anybody who says, "Hey, let's go," want to go investigate, I'll go. Even if it's a team, I'll go investigate with them. Uh, I don't want to be tied down. I don't do the group thing. Not anymore.
and I'm just scrolling through some of the,
Yeah.
because a lot of these, again, this is the second time she's been on. So if you guys are interested in seeing the first interview, it is obviously the first episode of interview with the Ghost Hunter. Um, and then I was just gonna ask a few other questions of like equipment that you prefer to use. Before in the past, you had other items that you preferred to use. Have those changed?
I don't even remember what I said before. I guess they probably have changed because, you could ask me next week and it could be different. So I always hold the right to change my mind. But, obviously, video camera, audio recorder. I like REM pods, real meters, things that aren't traditionally used for investigations. I like to try to find little weird things that I try to see if I can get a reaction or interaction with someone or something. So, unconventional items as well.
And where is it? To people, I'm gonna ask this question because I'm sure this has changed for you. To any new people that might be interested in the field, are there any tips or insights that you may have for them? And
Run!
I know you personally, so I know that viewpoint has definitely
Yes,
changed.
yes, it has definitely changed. Run. This is not for, the people who don't have a backbone. I know times my backbone is tested. Sometimes I snap. But people are mean. I even said today, people are really cruel. You've got anything that you put out there, be prepared to just be pulled and ripped through the mud. The meanest things that don't have anything to do with evidence, is going to get ripped apart. Your appearance is going to get completely just torn apart. Things that have nothing to do with actual what you're talking about and what you're doing. Yeah, it's a harsh world. And, I think that everybody needs to, if you decide to join a team, okay. If that's what, you're into and you feel you got a group of people that you can work with, um, hey, more power to you. I'm happy for you. It wasn't the road for me. That doesn't make it good, bad, or in between, whatever. It is what it is. But, my advice is to proceed with caution. And I'm not talking about the entities, I'm talking about the people.
And we can get more into that if you want.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And
I don't care.
spirit boxes, Ouija boards. I mean, we've gone through those, and I know a lot of that hasn't really changed for you.
I
Um,
still love all those things.
and then this one kind of relates probably back to the other one. The worst thing that you've ever came across, unless you want to talk about like a case that has happened.
Um, well, I still stand with the people, but case-wise, I guess, um, you know, there's nothing that I'm afraid of. I've never ran out of a place. I don't think I ever will. I kind of, I guess maybe that's part of the, not only do I have my own questions and I want to answer those and be selfish and totally answer my questions and get those figured out. Do I think I ever will? Probably not. Um, do I want to help people? Yeah, I enjoy helping people. I don't have a magic wand, so I can't say I'm going to poof anything out of anywhere. I don't have this guarantee that I can do anything, but I can come in and document something if it does happen. That's pretty much my only guarantee. You know, um, on a case, I've had some most interesting situation would involve one that I was carried out of, and I still don't understand what happened to me. I know I've had two situations that stand out in my mind that I can't really understand what happened. I'll always want to try to, you know, figure that out and get an idea of what happened, but I don't know that I ever will, and that's okay. I could still keep looking for that, and I'll keep myself very busy. But I actually had to get carried out of the House of Wills. Something, I guess, I don't even know how to word what that was. I guess took me over. Um, Watching the video was surreal, kind of like with the Monroe House. It was kind of surreal to look back at what had happened to me there. I'm not, one of those people who always gets taken over. No, it's happened twice, and I've been doing this for quite a while. But I am excited to say I will actually be visiting the Monroe House here shortly. So it'll be my first time back since that occurrence. See what happens.
Yeah, because the last time you were on, I believe you were talking about the Monroe House and how it had affected you and
Yeah,
that whole situation.
finally getting back. So it'll be really, really interesting to see, if something happens, if something doesn't happen. I'm kind of going in there with as an open book. If it plays out the same way, I will have even more questions. And I think that's what really is needed in this field. No one has all the answers. I have more questions each and every single day. And every investigation I do, I have more questions. I don't know everything. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I am the queen of the paranormal. No, not a princess side of the paranormal either. I'm just an investigator. I document stuff. I try to figure, like, I'm very skeptical. Try to figure out a rational reason for, high levels, things of that sort. Um, you know, it's the way it is.
And then the last question I'll ask you that was out of the original roster of questions I've asked everybody. For your theory of why or how ghosts exist, has that changed at all, or you kind of
I
feel
don't really, you know what? I guess I don't know what my answer was last time, but, as of today, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that we'll ever truly, firmly, 100% without a shadow of a doubt and have proof for it. No, I like to think that there's more to life than just dying. And I hope there's more
hopefully
because
there's
I want to come back and haunt the crap out of people.
hopefully there's like an ascension to something.
Something, yeah. I mean, yeah, I hope so. Because otherwise, that's a lot of wasted time and a whole lot more questions then, right? Because like I know I've had EVPs. I'm pretty sure that those voices didn't just, although it feels like they came out of nowhere. Why? What? I've had that whatever happened to me at those two places. I like to think that there's some rational reason or something, but I don't have any physical proof that would be enough for every skeptic to go, "Oh, I see the light." No, I don't have it.
Okay, and then I'm gonna open up to the chat if they would like to ask any questions. That was pretty awesome. I was trying to level out my mic.
I wouldn't know the first thing to do to level out a mic, so you're 1,000 steps ahead of me.
All right, that should be hopefully a little bit better. Maybe not, but we'll figure it out. But so within the past couple of years, you've been doing a
Mhm,
lot of investigating at like St. Barnabas,
mhm,
numerous other locations
mhm,
throughout the eastern seaboard,
mhm,
and you've also been over to like California. You've been to some locations you can't discuss.
mhm,
But I do know there was like cases that you were doing. There was the case in Seattle. There was a case.
mhm.
Trying to think, what would you say within the past few years has probably been your one of your biggest experiences with the cases that you've been going through?
Well, I guess every case is special in its own way, especially when you're dealing with a residential case. To me, you those ties never go away. I've gone and lived in cases, which actually I prefer to do. I feel that it's the most I get the most information. Obviously, I'm there longer to document it. I also notice how the change in what you're able to capture. I think that when you're there and it's almost like they become more comfortable with you. So the things that the people who are living there experience, you're more likely to experience. And I'd say that those cases, in my mind, stand out as being like the most, I don't know, the most special to me. I mean, granted, going to some of these really awesome, well-known places is really cool. It's really, really cool. But to go help a family, and helping them is simply documenting it. Like I said, I don't have a wand, but you kind of become part of the family. So I have family in, Washington State. I've got family in Wisconsin. I've got family all over the place. And whenever, even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning and it doesn't have to do with the paranormal, they know that I'm awake because I'm always awake during those hours, that they can send me a message and I'm going to be there to talk to. It doesn't just have to be paranormal, but if it is paranormal, I'm there too. I'm always here as, you know, just a vent system, if you will, if they just want to just be like blah, about what's going on. And, that's cool to me. It's very special to me. Those are probably my favorite that I've done are all my residentials.
Okay. And I do see a question in the chat as well, which is there any new technology, new things coming out that you might be interested in?
Everything. Any new toy, I am totally interested in. I wish I had this, like, I don't know, unlimited budget to be able to buy all these new toys. I would definitely be interested in any type of new technology that anyone comes out with that is not going to cost an arm and a leg because I do paranormal full time. Okay. Paranormal full time comes with a very, very small paycheck when it comes to actual monetary value. Like I said, residentials, to me, it's priceless. Like I love the cases I've gone and lived in, and that has paid in so many different ways, but things don't pay financially in this field. So when you go to buy equipment, it's scary, of looking at all this really awesome stuff. And my want list is huge. I mean, I want an SLS camera. I want one of those cars that have the camera on it that I can, robo whatever thing I can drive into a room, and see what's going on in there. I want all the new stuff that's coming out. I want it all. I want a poltercom. Like my want list is huge. You should see my Amazon wish list. Thank you, Dom. You've helped add to that with lots of different things. My wish list is sick, and it's probably always going to be a wish list because I mean, I see a new camera come out and I get giddy, and that's horrible. And then it kind of depresses you too because I know I am never going to have that as much as I want it. But that's where coming into those things where they aren't necessarily traditional types of equipment, I try to make do with some of those things, and I've had really interesting results, doing that. Do I think that I might have something ultra awesome happen if I have a brand new piece of $1,000 equipment? Yeah, it'd be pretty friggin' cool. I'd like to find out. But, a $14 baby doll from Walmart, I've had some really awesome, you know, interactions, if you will, with that. And It's kind of like what budget investigating, budget equipment. So anybody with any ideas too, let me know because I would really any ideas like other people have. I think there needs to be more open communication within this field. People need to communicate with each other. If somebody has a great idea, no reason to sit on top of it. And and one more thing on that, because I'm going to go off on my own tangent here, is that none of us are the first. We're not the first. Very rarely are you going to find a first time of anything. There's always been people who've been doing all sorts of really awesome things that are fly below the radar. And that doesn't mean that just because they didn't go out and do it on, social media and share it, and they did it in the 70s, does not mean that no one's ever done it before. So don't think it's first ever, because that just bothers me. Give credit where credit's due.
Well, there's and I mean we can chat a little bit about this, but the field has been ever growing, especially within the past few years. And I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it as well, with a lot of these digital devices coming out. Probably 8, 10 years ago, it wasn't as huge as it is now. There's a lot of even the spirit boxes. Some of them are
Oh yeah.
all digital,
Yep.
and I do have my own opinion on that. I'm just kind of curious what your opinion. Do you think that's a good thing? Flowing in the field, or do you think it might be a hindrance?
Well, anything where if it's a good intention to try to advance the field, I'm all for it. It doesn't mean that if I go use this said device, that I'm going to think it's the best thing since sliced bread. It might just not be for me. I know that some people don't like apps. Okay. I've seen the battle, the war, if you will, because in the paranormal, it's always, dramatic and stuff. So, I've seen the battles, I've seen the war. Mine's better than yours. I'm the first. Here's the thing. Yeah, I could use the same device that you can use, and I could have a really amazing experience with that said device. You might use it and think that, it's junk. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and every investigation that you do, what you're going to find that just using that same, one or two things. Now, granted, if it's a camera and an audio recorder, you like it basic, hey, I'm all for it. Go for it. If that's what you want, I'm all about it. Everyone has a different style. Um, I'd like to see the price of things be a little bit more reasonable. Whatever we could go to get to that point would be great because this is a hobby for many, many, many people. Okay. There's not a whole lot of people getting a paycheck from the paranormal. There's a lot of people who wish they did. There's a lot of people who are only involved in it because they think they're going to get one. But when they wake up from that dream and they come back down to reality, these things all cost money, and we all have to eat, right? So, if we could come up with a way to have more affordable equipment, whether it be digital, analog, or whatever, that would be great. I'm open to all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally noticed the hike. I'll call it the hike in the field
Uh-huh.
of the prices and
Yeah.
so forth, with everything kind of really rising up price
Oh, yeah.
wise. Uh, Another thought I had, and again, anybody in the chat, if you guys have any questions you'd like me to try to ask, or if you guys are interested, I'd be happy to ask those questions for you as well. And you've done radio, you've done live investigations, you've been on some of the YouTube channels that are pretty big in the field.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what for you is like your personal favorite thing to kind of be a part of? Is it radio? Is it investigating? Is it a mixture of everything? Or
I guess it's kind of a mixture of everything. I mean, with everything comes the good, the bad. Let's be real here, because I'm pretty realistic and I'm rather blunt. Okay. Now, when it comes down to it, there are days when radio can be painful. Okay. As much as I love radio, and I could be having the worst day ever, and I could be in tears, and as soon as it's time to go on air, I snap back out of it somehow, and I'm like, "Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to Live Paranormal." And that helps me. I think it also helped me a lot get through first becoming unemployed, having something to look and put all my focus into. That definitely was very, very important. And I'm very grateful that I had that to kind of put my focus on. I don't know what I would have done without it. Um, but, going out and investigating is definitely like, I mean, come on. It's the best, Reviewing stinks. Let's be real. Who wants to sit there? I'm the idiot who I go in and I've got like 10 cameras, okay? And I've got 20 audio recorders and I've got, 10 more other little cameras and I've got day cameras, I've got the night cameras, I've got the this, I got the that. I go through and I set all this stuff up and I keep switching my cards out. I keep switching my batteries out. Um, charging this, pulling that, downloading this, putting that back up, or taking the cards out and simply trying to go as seamless as possible to keep things running 24/7, 7 days straight. Guess what happens when you get home? Reality is a smack in the face. All of those files require, so if you've got an audio file that's a 1 hour audio file, for me, that can take over 2 hours sometimes because I go through, I listen, I stop, I go back, I go back, I go back. It's ridiculous. I almost want to cry when I come home. When you're doing it, it's like it's the I don't know, the adrenaline and the fun of the investigation and obtaining the evidence. And then when you go home to see if you got anything, oh, it's painful.
Well, yeah, you
Painful.
don't
But when
want to
you get
miss.
something, it's awesome.
Yeah,
You know what I
you
mean?
you don't want to miss anything. So
Right. But when you're going through and you've got all this video, okay, and it's in this one room, and you're sitting there, and your eyes start to go, and you're like, is that, am I seeing something? And you got to stop and kind of like rub your eyes, walk away, blink and look somewhere else for a little bit and go back to it. Or audio. If you listen to too much audio straight through, you will start to like friggin' hallucinate. I'm sorry. You'll be like, oh my gosh, I think I just got something really awesome. You write down, you listen to it 5 times, you send it to somebody else. Now, granted, not everyone's going to hear what you hear, but I've caught myself where I've written down to go, okay, I need to take a break. And I've gone back to those files like 2 days later. And I'm like, what in the world did I think I heard? Don't overdo your review. Of course, your client is going to call, if you've got a, say, 18-hour drive home. hmm And when you finally pull in your driveway, you're home, unloading your car still, and you get that phone call from the client who says, do you have anything? No, I just got home. Trying to set those I like realistic expectations with your client is important, especially when you're a one person party here. I don't have a review team. I don't have a team to help me with my review. I'm very grateful for the friends I have, like you, Dom, who I've sent stuff to and gone, Dom, can you listen to this for me? And I'll send you some audio. And you also helped me with the Seattle case. Do you hear something? And I'm very grateful for my friends in this field who have been there to help me out because I don't know where I'd be without you guys. I'd be crazy. Padded room probably.
well, I think a lot of us would be in padded rooms.
This is true.
Another one that popped in, and this is what is your biggest case that you're looking forward to beyond the Monroe house?
Well, I'm going on a 16-day journey. Um, going to be traveling with a friend. I don't know if I can say the person's name or not, so I don't want to go all out there, but of course you'll figure it out later. But I'm going on a 16-day paranormal journey where I'm going to be going to a whole bunch of different places. Asking me to pick my favorite place or favorite piece of equipment is kind of like asking me to pick my favorite, like which kid do I like one better than the other. I can't do that. Like I'm excited about all of them, even places where I've been to before, and maybe I didn't even have anything happen. You know, that's cool. I'm still excited to go back and, get a chance to investigate it again. So this 16 days is going to be the longest I've done straight through. Haunted locations, different haunted locations, not the same haunted location, different ones. It's going to be a lot of packing up and a lot of getting back out, and I'm not looking forward to that part. But the driving part, not getting a ticket, will be really, really important to try to keep into consideration. But looking forward to the investigating part. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. The review's gonna suck.
And are you going to be streaming that at all, or have it on Live
Yeah,
Paranormal's Facebook or your own
possibly.
YouTube?
Yes. No, it should be on Live Paranormal's Facebook. Um, I had, some experiences in the past few days that made me question whether or not I want to do that or not. But, I think it's important because Live Paranormal helps set them up. So I kind of have to do it. But when I'm investigating, I will say when I'm doing a stream, it's very different from my actual investigation technique. It is different. So I don't want to stream the entire time because I want to be able to do things kind of like the way I normally do and not have to worry about whether or not a feed is working. I don't think people realize that when you're doing a stream, it really does take away from your investigation, what you're able to. If you are focusing, if you're like there and you don't have somebody there just to focus on that aspect of it, um, it brings a whole bunch more stuff to the table that you have to worry about, and it's and the comments that people make are just really rude sometimes. I could do without those. Who people are, why do that to be mean? Don't be mean. Yeah. But
Yeah,
we should be streaming from every place. Don't ask me what time yet, because you know what? I don't know yet. I have to work all that out. But we have Ghost Box night too during the trip, where we have a night at Post Town Elementary where we're going to be doing this big Ghost Box kind of experiment, and everyone's able to be a part of it. And I think that's what's important. Everyone trying to work together in a sense. Now, hey, no, we don't all have to hold hands and skip. I'm not asking anybody to do that. But if ITC is something that you like ghost boxes, why not? Why not do it? You know, don't don't just sit there and go, I'm not gonna do that because I don't like Nikki. You don't like me. That doesn't matter. The point is, it's bigger than not liking people. The point is, like, you know, gathering information, seeing what's out there. Not We're not going to figure it out today, but we might work toward it.
and actually, I'm Renee Angelic Comfort. She actually did just say something about just ignore what the people say.
I've done that.
If they're negative, it defines them, not you.
This
And
is true.
you know,
But there's sometimes when you've heard enough of it, and I'm kind of probably at a place where I'm a little more sensitive than usual, because my grandmother just died, and I've been kind of maybe I shouldn't have gone and pushed myself to go do a whole bunch of stuff yesterday. Maybe I'm a little sensitive, but you know what? Those are things that everybody has. We all have things, and not everybody knows what somebody else might be dealing with or facing before they sit and try to judge. And, it's just it's just uncalled for. You don't like something, you hit the X, you know what I mean? Like move on. Because
and
I know there's stuff I see I don't like, and you know what? Instead of being nasty, I just leave. Like I don't have to be nasty.
and I mean, the other side of it is, you know, it, you going to do that after what has happened this past week. That's healing. That's one of the things that you do as a
Enjoy.
person,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's a form of how you heal yourself when things are going on.
Mhm.
So I don't blame you for doing what you did at all.
Yeah. Well, and I was hoping, that and I'm not saying I expect anybody to kiss my butt. I don't want that. That's stupid. Just if you don't like something, and this goes across the board, whether it be paranormal or whether it's, I don't know if you're into stamp collecting and somebody's got a stamp you don't like, do you sit there and ridicule them as a human being? No. I mean, maybe I'm different. Maybe because if I don't like something, I'm not going to sit there and be a part of it and watch it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hmm, I don't know. And I just think that people need to be a little bit, like we were talking about before at the beginning with people who are coming into the field. When you put your first finding video up or evidence video, be prepared to just, not everyone's going to say, great job. Not everyone's going to agree with you. It's what you say, what you do, even what color you make the background. If you put words in it, they're not going to like the color. Be prepared for that. There are days where you might have your sensitive day, Hey, I'm a chick, believe it or not. I know I just did this long road trip with the guys, okay? And they said when I said one time, I'm a girl, using it as an excuse, which I don't do. They turned around, they said, that's the first time you've admitted that on the whole trip. And, I'm guilty. I try to be one of the guys, I try to get along with people. I try, I don't sit there and play the I'm girly gonna cry wah wah stuff. But maybe I'm in a sensitive spot and kind of wah wah. Happens.
And there's definitely, and I think this is probably subjects we probably maybe we can try to discuss, but there's definitely individuals in the field that they'll show this form of intent compared to this form of intent, and and I'm sure you're also trying to put that into words as well. Is if you're coming into the field, be cautious, but also probably they should know what their intent is. I mean,
Yes.
what your actual intent is
Right.
within the field.
And here's the thing, you know what? I'm not going to judge you. If your intent is to get your own questions answered and you really want to get it figured out, as long as you're honest with yourself and you know that, hey, cool, that's cool. In your mission to find out those answers, it's not okay to cause harm or to go, do something stupid just because that's your only intent. If your intent is not to answer your own questions, but to help other people, that's cool too. Like everyone has their own reason why they're into the paranormal. A lot of people have a loved one that passed away, or they have an experience that they had that they can't seem to wrap their head around, or maybe they've kind of wrapped their head around it and they say it's definitely that had to be paranormal, and they're trying to seek answers or what have you. It's okay. Everyone can come from a different point of view. I love people who are skeptical. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to go on a ghost hunt with me. I'm not going to make you sign something and get it notarized that says, that you believe in the paranormal. You don't have to. That's okay. We're all entitled to have our own thoughts and beliefs, and some people don't like spirit boxes. That's fine. I do. We can still be friends. There's just so many of these divides that I'm seeing, and it makes me sad. And it really takes away from the main focus, which is the paranormal, and it makes it all drama and high school. And most of us, I mean, there are some people who are into the paranormal who are in high school, and that's okay. But most of us are out of high school. It's not a competition. There's no finish line at the end of wherever, if there's the end of the paranormal, there's no competition. Just because I go to a place doesn't mean I own it. You could go to that place. So and so can go to that place. It's okay. I think it's
And
better when they do.
I completely agree with that statement. For you in the past few years, have you found any new methods or new practices within your investigating that you really kind of they've really taken effect on you?
Yeah. All of them. One of the things was streaming, and I know that sometimes, people don't get it when they just tune in and they're like, why are we looking at a box on the floor? Um, I like to take and walk away and leave for the people who are watching the stream, let them kind of get a feel for what it's like to be in the quote unquote the hot seat, if you will. Let them investigate. I'm gonna walk away and, see, without me being in that room, without me, I know she's touching it. Okay, she's blowing on the pages, blah blah, anything they could come up with. I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna give you guys a chance to see, for yourselves if anything happens. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe nothing happens at all. And that's the reality of the paranormal. There are times when I go and go drive 16, 18 hours to a place, okay? To spend my money to get there, my money on my equipment. I go there and nothing happens. And that's paranormal reality right there. You can watch Ghost Adventures, you can watch Ghost Hunters, and Paranormal Lockdown, everything else. You could go to one of those places that they had that was off the chain, and nothing happens. And I just kind of like to leave that chance for people to have that untainted, if you will, by my presence, experience for themselves if they're watching the stream. I think it's fun. So I like that for streaming. Now, as for investigating myself, I like to leave audio recorders going and just have like, if I've got other people with me, we just have like a random casual conversation because we don't all have to be uptight, the whole time and walk around like and somber and serious the whole time. I mean, yes, there's some level of professionalism that I think should be kept, but we're not in the library. We're not, sometimes you're investigating a library, but we're not like, you can have fun. You could joke around with your fellow investigators saying something, and sometimes that's when the best evidence has come in for me is when you're not trying to ask those questions to an entity. You're just having like casual small talk with other investigators. So I try to make sure to, when I walk in the door, have a recorder running at the very least. I mean, I don't try to stand out on like people's lawns or on the road, and get my cameras all out and come rushing in the door. But at least I like to have an audio recorder running because sometimes when you first walk in the door and you're talking to a client, you'll get something. And when you're having those casual interactions with your team that are not focusing on communicating with someone, is when you'll get somebody chime in. And it's always usually really awesome to have that.
Now, what what are your ideas for maybe things that could improve within the community and maybe like through equipment and things like that? Do you have? I mean,
Equipment, like I said, the prices. I mean, I would love for somebody to be able to come out with something that was actually totally brand new. That wasn't just a remodeling or a casing of something else. Um, Something that's different would be super awesome. Um, we've got a few different things out there, but something brand new, something that's not just a modification or alteration of something we already have, something completely out of the box. That would be awesome. Um, as for the community, just be nice and get along. Like, there's no reason to hate on each other. There's no reason to do videos that are on the internet blasting people for hours and hours. You don't even know these people in real life. Like, and if you do and they're like that to you, maybe you should have that conversation in private. The whole world doesn't need to see it. And if you don't like something somebody says, go hit the X, walk away. This isn't like in person, where I can't just like, there's no button I can hit that X's somebody out. Like, that would be really neat. Like, like somebody says something I don't like in front of me and I hit the X and they're gone, or I hit the ban button and I don't ever have to deal with them again in my life. But that's the beauty of the internet. You can kind of do that. You don't have to see what they say or do. In real life, you might come across them in your workplace. There's no button to press. X. Don't hear anything that they say from there on out. That would be neat sometimes, but the internet gives you the ability to do that. So
kind
just
of like the
remember, you
movie,
have the power.
kind of like the movie Click with the remote control that you can mute the person.
Yes. That would be fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, and there would also be a really cool thing if there was some sort of contract you could sign with entities that they'd be like, you'd be like, all right, I'm going to this place on this date. Here's the contract. Okay. You guys are going to do 3 partial apparitions. You guys are going to give me 4 knocks. You're going to do 5 class A EVPs. You're going to move a chair, 2 class Bs, and, you're going to communicate with me using the obulus. Okay, now have the entity notarize here. Okay, we got our witness. Okay, they're notarizing. It'd be great if we could have something like that to guarantee that we're gonna have paranormal activity. But yeah, no. So
And I've always been known for being the guy that kind of puts the question out there that kind of throws people for a loop. But you've been through a lot of stuff within the field in the
yeah.
last few years, and I
Hmm.
know that personally. And
Hmm.
for a lot of individuals within the field, uh, you have stuck around, you have stayed with it, and you have persevered and have tried to raise the bar per se with
Hmm.
everything you're doing. What gives you that strength? What gives you that inspiration? Because I think that's important for a lot of individuals out in the field if they are true to wanting
Hmm.
to do the paranormal. What from a person, and you've been through a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not gonna give any details or any stuff like that,
Hmm.
but
I've been through hell. I've
r-
been put through hell,
right,
and
but not necessarily the hell from the paranormal, but the hell from individuals that
right. Yes.
may have a unknown intent involved within
Right.
the field.
Yes. Um, I have. I have. And, you know, I think sometimes I think I just must be stupid for still being, and you know, like I go, why, what is wrong with me? Like, who would put themselves through this type of punishment for something that, you know, the only thing that you kind of get out of it is when you're able to go in and document for a family and tell them, you know, when you get that phone call from that client and they go, I think I'm going crazy, you know, and you go in and you're able to document what they have going on and something that they actually have experienced, and you're able to document that, you know, you experienced it too. That is awesome. But as for all the rest of the BS from the people that are not the clients, these are the people that are supposed to be fellow investigators, quote unquote. I use that term very loosely when talking about that. You know, I sit and say to myself, gosh, you must be like, what is wrong with you, Nicole? Like, why? Why? Why are you putting yourself through this hell? And there are days when I'm like, forget this. I can't do this anymore because I need my sanity. And then, like, an hour later, I'm, you know, back doing paranormal stuff. I love the paranormal. I love the paranormal. I love trying to figure out the answers for my own questions. And like I said, I don't know that I'm ever going to. So I'll keep myself very, very busy because I'm not saying I'm going to be the one to answer them. I might be dead and gone and be a ghost before something may get figured out, and that's okay. um, I like to try to be supportive of others who are seeking, you know, it's kind of the same deal, you know, help answering their own questions, helping people who are facing the community's reaction or negativity toward them. You know, I've been there, you know, and I try to help them out where I can. And I don't know, like I said, I must be crazy or something. But I love the paranormal, and that's why I'm still here.
And is there any other questions within the chat that you guys may have as well? Is there anything you yourself would like to kind of put out there for people to really be aware of, or things that are coming up for you? I know you do a show with Chris V and so forth. If you want to give a shout out for that as well.
Yeah, I do a show with Chris V Paranormal and More Radio on YouTube, and we have a page on Facebook. You can go like it. It always has the, um, you know, show announcement definitely the day of, and that's Mondays at 10 p.m. And then on Tuesdays, I do Live Paranormal Spotlight Radio with Rob Zarek, the owner of Live Paranormal, and that's at 10:30 usually. But Rob sometimes alters the time of the show due to the basketball schedule. Let me tell you how fun that is. So sometimes it's like at 11, or sometimes it's gonna happen. And then, like last week, we had a great show scheduled, and my grandmother died, and that was the first time that I said, if I and that was the first time I haven't done a show that I actually canceled, not because of going on an investigation, but because I couldn't. Um, so that's the first show I've ever canceled. All the rest have been Rob. Just putting that out there because it's totally true. But you know, like even if I'm sick as a dog, I want to do a show. I love the paranormal. We had a great guest, Robin, from Ashmore States, the owner, and he's going to come on this week. I'm so grateful that he was able to clear out his schedule and reschedule. So that actually this Tuesday he'll be our guest. Ashmore States is like an amazing place. I finally got to go there when I went on the trip with Corey and John and Josh, John and Josh. God, so many J's. And it was it's such an awesome place. He's got that place. It's honestly like the ideal setup for a paranormal investigator. It's kind of like a dream setup because there's if you have a DVR, you can actually bring it in, plug it in. It's kind of like a paranormal research center, if you will, into a haunted location because he's got it like it's like beautiful. It's got IR lights already there for you. It's kind of like carefree investigating. I mean, he really, it's awesome. And I got to go there, and I get to go there again during those 16 days. I'll be there on the 21st, actually. I think, yeah, 21st. I will be at Ashmore State, so I'll be streaming from there on the 21st. If you can get to Ashmore State, do it. It's awesome. So, and I'll have him on this week. So I'm really excited about that.
Is there certain brands or certain of like voice recorders and stuff like that that you prefer, that you like to recommend for any individuals that might be interested?
Don't go spend $1,000 on an audio recorder. Okay. And if you ask someone their favorite, a lot of people are going to tell you something totally different. And I could tell you my favorite this week, and it could be totally different next week. I hold that right to do so. I like my Tascam. I like my Tascam for when I'm doing either backup audio to my video work, or just leaving it in a room. I don't necessarily use my Tascam for like burst sessions. I kind of use that more so for just, I guess, general audio. I'll leave it running. For my burst sessions, I really, really like my Olympus. I just got a new Sony, and it's not a new Sony, so it's a new to me Sony that's supposed to be really good. And this is one of the things that I'll mention because I brought it with me last night. Yeah, never used it before. It, I did not use it last night. I don't think I did because I didn't actually mess with it beforehand. I expected it to be like every other audio recorder where you just hit a button and you're good. This thing, it wanted me to set the clocks and everything else, and I couldn't even get out of this clock setting screens, which I like to think that I'm really not that untechnical. Like when I'm pretty, I like to think I'm savvy. I mean, Dom, you've got me beat any day of the week when it comes to computers and things of that sort. You would have had no problem with this. This was like a complete, like, oh my goodness, I need a manual type of situation. And I was actually at a location. Try to get familiar with things before you take them and get real excited about using them and can't on an investigation. I heard that this Sony is really awesome, so I'm excited to use it. But I usually go with my Olympus for burst sessions.
And also, if you can let everybody let everybody know, how they can find you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Live Paranormal, like all the innards of all that stuff. I know we already did the shows and so
Let's
forth,
see.
but
Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, Live Paranormal Spotlight Radio has a Facebook page too and a Twitter page. Um, on Twitter at LP Spotlight. I'm on Twitter, and this is where it gets confusing. I might even have to look for reference for some of these. So Twitter, you can only have your handle be so long, right? So I'm at Niki ParaNormal, just to confuse things, because everything else is Niki ParaUnNormal. So on Twitter, it's at Niki ParaNormal. On Instagram, it should be Niki ParaUnNormal. I don't know if there's like a dot or anything. On YouTube, youtube.com slash Niki ParaNormal. So that has the un in there. Facebook, Niki ParaNormal. There's a public page there. My personal page is kind of getting a little full. I don't know how many more people I can add on there, but I'm sure a whole bunch of people probably deleted me today or yesterday, so it's okay. And there might be room for more people. Let's see. Where else? iParanormal has a Facebook page as well as a Twitter and an Instagram page too, because I manage the Instagram. So the Instagram is like the way to go because it's awesome. I also do hauntedimages.com, and I've got pages on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram for my photos that I take a lot of times at haunted locations, sometimes just random photos from the road or what I'm doing, and I think it looks really cool, and I'll take a picture of it. And I think they're pretty cool. So.
I highly recommend for any individuals, if you haven't checked out the haunted images as well, definitely do that. They are fantastic
Thank you.
works of art.
I love my photos. Like, I look at them and I'm like, I just want to keep taking more photos. And that's part of the fun of this 16-day journey is that I'm hoping that I've got time in between where I can go to some of these places that are just not necessarily where I'm going to investigate, but maybe some off the wall stuff and get a chance to go photograph them and just, whatever I see that kind of pulls me in because I really, really love taking pictures. So.
And I do have links in the description below the video for your Facebook page and your website, which I think you have everything linked into your website as well.
It might be. It's been a while since I've updated it. I apologize. I'm a slacker when it comes to my website, probably because I'm not good at WordPress. But it's there, and I'm hoping to update it soon. And if anybody wants to give me WordPress lessons, I would totally be interested in learning about how to use it.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Nikki, for coming
Mhm.
on and for revisiting the interview of the ghost hunter
Yes.
and
Thank you.
kind of giving us an update of things going on and how things have been. Uh,
It's like real paranormal. That's what I just gave you. Real
yeah,
paranormal.
yeah.
Because that's the truth. I could sugarcoat it and sit here and be like, everything is fantastic and there's butterflies and rainbows all in the paranormal community. But I would be lying. And I'm not going to lie. We've got our drama, we've got our BS, we've got, we've got good people, we've got people with not such great intentions. And the trick is figuring it all out. But Dom's a good guy. I can tell you that. Dom, you've been so
I
awesome to me.
try
Thank you so much.
try to be.
Thank you for asking me to do that
So
first interview because you know what? I've I've gotten a very, very good friend out of it. So thank you.
I honestly to reiterate on it, and a lot of people probably don't know this from viewing and so forth, but I actually contacted almost, what was it, 20 or 30 individuals, and you were the only individual that actually got back to me. And then I think it was a week later, there was another person, and they said
Mhm.
no, not interested. So I mean, to start out in the field trying to create something that you hope is going to help the field and see other individuals not want
Right.
to help, that um, was
I mean, you know what? I see it every
it
day.
was
I see it every
dumbfounding.
day and it makes me sad. It really makes me sad because you know what? We should all be willing to talk to each other and help each other out and get along, and that's part of that getting along thing. No one's better than anybody else. You know, we all are human. We're all the same, and maybe someone's been doing this for 2 weeks, maybe when someone's been doing this for 30 years. Everyone, and I always go back to my story about John Zappis. When I got a chance to investigate with him, we were doing a private case or a private location, and he had this disembodied voice that he got. And to see his face light up, I mean, here's someone who's been all over the place, who knows how many disembodied voices that this guy's probably gotten, He's got some amazing stuff and been to some amazing places. And to have his face light up with that excitement and that just it meant so much to me. And that's what I always hope to have. And, as much as sometimes the paranormal makes you want to pull your hair out, when you're out investigating and you get that find or, you're reviewing, you have that find, that's what brings it home. And then helping people.
Yeah, I mean, back then it really kind of showed me the reality of the whole series was to help individuals if they're interested in the field. And even though you've gone through
Mm.
a lot of things, you were the first person
Mhm.
to say yes, not a problem, I'd be happy to do that. And that shows who you are, and that has always shown who you are. And I greatly
Thank you.
appreciate the opportunity and you taking the time right before Christmas, I believe. It was right before
Yeah, I
Christmas.
think it was.
It's
Because it
like,
was remember our friend anniversary. I think we celebrated like a friend anniversary the last time.
yeah, it's like I want to say December 19th or 20th, but it was literally Christmas was
Yeah.
right around the corner, and you go, not a problem,
Yeah.
So
I love the paranormal. Any chance I get to talk about it, I might not shut up. So and I will go off on wild tangents. And as long as you have the attention span and, you know, tell me to take my medicine so I try not to go for too many topics. You know what? I'm always willing to talk about it. I love the paranormal. It's all I do, really. I have no life.
well, your life is the paranormal.
It is. It is.
So
It is. So that's, yeah, and it's kind of sick. Like all my friends who aren't into it, like they don't really talk to me anymore because they're like, that girl's a weirdo. But, that's where I'm so grateful to have, such awesome friends like you, Dom. I just thank you so much.
I just with the interview, I mean, a lot of people may not know who you are, or
Mhm.
they do know who you are and they've heard other things, and this.
They've heard the mess from someone else, and that's the other thing too. Never believe what anybody else has to say about anybody. Experience it for yourself. Because I've had some people tell me this person's blah, 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 and I'll go, oh, okay. Now, when that next person, that person who was the blah, 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 asks if I want to go do something, yes, I'll go work with you, you know? And it's not to make somebody else angry. It shouldn't make anybody else angry. Just because, I want to investigate with everybody. I learn something from everyone I work with. Sometimes I learn what not to do. Yep. And sometimes I learn something really cool that I'll implement on my future investigations. But we all bring something different to the table.
And everybody, thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And also to let everybody know, we do have more streams coming up this week. We have our Loving Whispers Thursday night, Spirit Box Weekly on Friday. We'll be doing the big reveal for who won the giveaway for the Spirit Box on Friday. And also, I do have a brand new episode of our Paranormal Stories, which I'll probably be uploading. It's already uploaded. I just got to release it. Probably Tuesday. I'll have that. And if you guys, it's interesting. It's definitely a doozy. It's gonna be an interesting viewpoint, an interesting story, and I definitely am happy to share this with you. Also, we have another interview pretty much every Sunday all the way through July. So I greatly appreciate Niki for coming on, and don't forget to check out our YouTube, check out our Facebook, check out all the things that she's involved with, and live paranormal as well. And check out her Tuesday show and Chris V's show on Mondays. And we will catch you later. Thank you very
3
much.
years later, bye.